Okay everyone, today we're going to be starting our lessons for Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, the Sword of Summer. So by now we should be about halfway through the book. So we've met a lot of characters, gotten kind of the first part of the story and the plot. So we should be set to start our first lesson, which is going to be it will be covering Reading Literature Standard 3, which has us analyze how particular elements of a story or drama interact. We will be looking at how certain characters move the plot along and affect other characters. So for the assignment, you're going to have to choose two of the characters and explain how they help move the plot along. You can pick Magnus, Sam, Blitzen, Hearthstone, or Loki. So you have to pick two of these characters and explain to me how they helped move the plot along, how they affect other characters, and so on. So your assignment is to write a paragraph of 6 to 8 sentences for each of the characters you chose, a total of 2 paragraphs. You must explain how they are relevant to the story and how they are moving the plot along. What has been their major impact on the story so far? How did they affect the main character Magnus? Did their actions affect any of the minor characters? Are they a big part of the story or just a minor character that helps just move a couple small things along, or are they a big factor in getting the story to where it needs to be, making big moves and getting things from one part of the story to the next? So I have an example for you. I chose to do a paragraph about Uncle Randolph. So Uncle Randolph is only in the book for a small portion, but his actions lead to a great movement in the plot. He tells Magnus about some of his past, including that he knows who his father is. This action makes Magnus come with Randolph. Randolph is also the one that takes Magnus to the bridge to retrieve his sword. This leads to Magnus fighting Surt. Without Uncle Randolph, would Magnus have found the sword and started the entire story? So you can see here that Uncle Randolph is kind of a minor character because he's only in the book so far. He's only been in the book for just a few chapters. We know that he is Magnus's uncle, that Randolph and Magnus's mother got in a big fight when Magnus was little, and that's what has caused Magnus and his mother to stray away from the rest of the family and not talk to them anymore. So I didn't even mention that in the paragraph, but just from that little bit of information we get about Magnus's past, we can see that Uncle Randolph has been a major influence of how Magnus has been raised and how he has been secluded from the rest of his family, and the way he thinks about Uncle Randolph and the fact that he doesn't trust him at the beginning of the story because of that past. We don't know much about Uncle Randolph except for that he had some crazy theory about Vikings being in Boston, and that's why he believes Magnus's sword is laying in the river. So we also know that Uncle Randolph is good at kind of, not quite manipulation, but he knew just what to say to Magnus about knowing who his father is and knowing more about his past than his mother wanted Magnus to know, and gets Magnus to come with him with using this idea, or using what he knew to get Magnus to do what Randolph wanted him to do. We can't tell for sure whether we trust Randolph or not. We don't know if he's going to show up again in the story and cause more problems. We just know that he's not the most reliable character in the story, but he made a major effect on Magnus, and we could even say that he is the whole reason that this story started, because he got Magnus to go along with him and get his sword and start this fight and get the story moving. So that is all I have for lesson 1. I will see you guys tomorrow and we will get started on it.